9 to 5 will never make you a millionaire. Building businesses and entrepreneurship will. There are a few outlier situations where an employee would become a millionaire. But for the most part and on average, if you are working a 9 to 5, the chances of you becoming a millionaire and financially free are very limited and close to zero. And that is because you're helping someone build their dream and not yours. Now, it's not a bad thing to start off as a 9 to 5 if you're a youngster. Obviously, you need some level of skills, experience, and then exposure to be able to start your own business. But obviously, if you want to reach that epitome of life and height, then you should have at the back of your mind that you're definitely not going to be stuck in that 9 to 5 job forever. If you don't have any intention of elevating in your personal development and personal life, then you're probably going to be stuck in that 9 to 5 job forever. And what that does is that it keeps you as a basic individual forever as well. It doesn't even matter if you're making $5,000 or even $10,000 per month. You can do the math, calculate how much in cumulative it will take you in terms of years to be able to save up every dime without spending to make $1 million. This reminds me of a story of when a millionaire entrepreneur drove their car into their office yard, and then one of his employees saw it and was like, "Sir, this is a very beautiful car you've got there." You know his response? "Yes, that's a very beautiful car. Thank you for the compliment, but work so hard so that I can buy another one next year." Trading is so powerful. When you start trading, it's so hard to invest in any other thing early on. When I started very early on making money as a trader, it was very hard for me to really invest in any traditional business or even traditional financial instruments, because traditional financial instruments had limited returns. Even though these returns were fixed and promised, because most of them were backed by the government, they were always far below the percentages that I could return by myself using my financial trading skills on the market. A financial instrument like treasury bill will promise you 24% if you're living in Ghana and below 5% if you're living anywhere abroad, be it America or the European continent. And guess what? As traders, we're able to even return between 5% and 20% just in 1 month. Now, if you didn't get it, the promised return you're going to get, which is the 25% if you come from anywhere in Africa and 2% if you come from Europe or America, is a yearly return, not a monthly return. So ideally, by investment choice, any trader would rather want to keep their money in their trading account and multiply it rather than investing in these traditional financial instruments. But the key thing is that after you have accumulated some riches, you obviously have to maintain them, and that is where the need for these financial instruments come in. So if you're a youngster, my advice to you is that if you start trading, you want to accumulate as much capital as possible, plow them back, grow them to a quantifiable amount, and when you are comfortable, you can now diversify into safe haven investment like treasuries and bonds. Learning how to trade the financial market today. If I were you, I'd not be listening to what people say on social media and be giving a conclusive judgment about what the financial market is about. I've seen and heard so many people utter basically useless comments when it comes to financial market without taking any time at all to make any research and coming to a very solid and reasonable conclusion. Now, let me tell you something. The kind of possibilities that trading offer, I don't think there's any type of job in the world that comes very close to that. For the most part, as traders, we trade for basically 3 main things. We trade for financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. For financial freedom, basically trading gives us that access to enormous cash, obviously through the speculation that we make, and when we are right, we make a lot more money, and then we cannot deny the fact that sometimes we are wrong. For the time freedom, what I can tell you is that with trading, nobody comes to wake you up to go sit by the chart. Once the market starts working for you, once you start getting on your A game and you're really good at this thing, obviously you can understand that you can choose to do whatever you want with your time at any point in time at all. And the location freedom, which is obviously my most favorite part, is the fact that I can travel anywhere in the world and nothing changes with my trading. All I need to do is carry my laptop forever where I'm going. Once I have internet connectivity, I can actually trade and make a lot of money as well. So when you think about trading, you want to always think about these 3 things: financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. So the next time you hear somebody tell you anything despicable about trading, tell them to don't take any type of financial advice from your parents, especially if they are not your mentors or they are not financially stable. Now, if your parents are not people you look up to financially, sometimes it's very dangerous taking all types of financial advices from them. And when I talk about financial advices, I'm talking about things that pertain to how you're going to manage your money, not only in the present moment, but in the future as well. Now, don't get me totally wrong. Sometimes out of the love for our parents and the fact that we revere them so much, we tend to totally take any type of advice from them without necessarily really looking very deep into it. One thing about African parents is that they always want to show you how to use your money. They think they have the best way to show you how to spend the money you made. This is not out of disrespect, but if you made your own money, you definitely had the rudiment that requires you to make a lot more. If you come from a family where the culture is always taking loan, obviously when you start a business, the first advice your parents are going to tell you is that, are you not going to consider the options of taking a loan? Even when you want to purchase your own property or even a land, definitely the financial means that is going to be first on to come into their mind is to tell you to go for a loan, because that is obviously the culture they are used to. So the next time you want to listen to any type of advice from your parents, make sure you don't build that dream house before you build your dream business. If you're a youngster in your starting life, one of the mistakes you should avoid is thinking that you want to build that dream house before you have any solid foundation at all for it. That is one mistake that I've seen so many people do and go into ruins. What you want to do is that you actually want to create that dream business, let it stand on its own, let it be an entity separate from its owners, being able to take care of itself, its revenue, its expenses, and then generate a consistent and recurring profit fair enough to be able to take care of you, the business itself, and even that dream house that you want to build. The secret to money is that the more you have, the more you're able to multiply and make more. One thing I can tell you is that if you have a lot of money sitting in your bank account, you have a very comfortable mind to operate in a scope that allows you to increase. But the moment you take that capital and now convert it into a static structure, it's not going to be able to reproduce extra more, and that's where you get stuck, and that is where the real issues begin. So the next time you have a friend that wants to build their dream house before they build a strong business, tell them,
for me, it's very simple and short. You have no business in being in a relationship if you're not a profitable trader. It's as simple as that. Trading is very difficult. It requires you going through some level of mental agony. You cannot combine that with relationship stress, because obviously at that struggling level, we don't even have that resource to maintain a sweet, spicy, juicy type of a relationship. And then you're struggling. You're blowing your couple of dollars, $100, $50, and then you're literally start watching almost all videos. Kojo drops a video you're watching, Aram drops a video you're watching, everybody around drops a video you're watching. You're reading books, you're listening to podcasts, you're tuning into spaces, and everyone is coupling that with, you're not giving me time, attention, you're not taking me out, you're not buying anything for me, you're not celebrating my birthday, my Valentine's Day, my blah blah day, Women's Day, Mother's Day, Children's Day. Bro,
Girlfriend's
Day.
Really? Girlfriend's Day.
You have no business being in a relationship at that point.
So Google this for you right now.
Go on your grind, focus on yourself. You gotta be at that point where you have time for yourself and be selfish with yourself. You don't need anybody at that moment. You just need yourself. Date yourself, take your own self out, go to the movies with yourself, sleep with yourself. Sleep with yourself, bro. Until you make it, then now you can open your space up for, some auditions. You know what I mean?
beware of frenemies. Frenemies basically are friends that are at the same time enemies. Now, if you're a young man or a young woman, the number one advice I want to tell you is that beware of the people around you. In the Ashanti proverb, we say, what it basically means is that if an animal is likely to bite you, it will probably already be hiding in your clothes. People want to see you doing well, but they never want to see you doing way better than them. It's okay to trust your friends and share all your good news and every exciting thing about your life with them, but make sure you are always very careful. For many have gone down the road of death because they trusted the people very close to them a little too much. You don't necessarily need to be paranoid about the people around you, but my best advice I'm going to give you is that beware of the people around you, and when you sleep, don't sleep with both eyes closed. Sleep with one eye closed and one eye opened.